3 days from Christmas, a big three, and I changed my hat, got my Christmassy sweater on. You can tell that Santa is nearing the point where he's going to make his deliveries, and it's, of course, my job to deliver Christmas music that you haven't heard maybe in your life if you're really lucky. But today, we got two treats for you. Today from the basement, Walgreens for a few years sold Christmas CDs. So, when you went in there to get your cough syrup or your ibuprofen or maybe a box of Kleenex, you could pick up a great disc that included the likes of Engelbert Humperdinck, Andy Williams, of course, a Christmas staple. But you haven't lived until you hear, this thing just reset on me. Here we go. Check this out.
Just hear those sleigh bells jingling, ring ting tingling too.
Jim Neighbors, Gomer Pyle.
It's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you.
Sergeant Carter. Oh, that's the best. Okay, well, that's one of them. Now, second one has a little story behind it. We're going to have to change CDs here while we're talking, which may be a little too taxing for me because, multitasking is not really what I do too well these days, but I'm going to come through this time for you. It was probably it had to be 1983 when I was working at WIBC. And one day, the great Fred Heckman, who was the news director, legendary broadcaster and journalist in Indianapolis, came to me and said, Ken, I'm not really sure this is how it went down, but in my mind, after almost 40 years, Christ, Owen, that John Davidson's in town. He's a stud. He's got a young guy he's got that cachet. Why don't you go down to Monument Circle and interview him? So I was sent down. I think I was working out of the city-county building back then, but I went down and interviewed John Davidson, who was coming out of a building on Monument Circle, as I recall, and I think he didn't really want to be bothered that day. He wasn't spectacularly nice, let's put it that way. He wasn't bad, but he was obviously just kind of one mind, and so the guy you saw on the game shows, was not that guy that day. But I also want to imagine Fred saying, ask him about that Love Boat thing. Christ, that's a great program. I love that. We like to watch that at the Heckman household. But John Davidson Christmas. You haven't really had Christmas until you bring John Davidson into your home. And look, he was in a good mood this day, I can tell that, just from his treatment of this Christmas classic. Take a listen. He's taking his time, isn't he? He may still be in the building, avoiding me. Oh, please. That's probably enough. It's like a vanilla ice cream that's got just a little bit of aftertaste to it. John Davidson. Merry Christmas, folks. By the way, I wanted to tell you, I was really excited when Frosty was giving things like 7 or 8, stars, 7 or 8 out of 10. But then I realized Frosty only has, look, he's got these little claw things. So my phone isn't doing a very good job picking them up. But he's only got 6 votes. So we may have to have a recount on some of the earlier songs. But Merry Christmas. If Fred Heckman sends you down to Monument Circle, and rest in peace, Fred, what a great influence on my life he was. Christ, Owen! Steve Simpson and I used to trade our Fred Heckman impersonations, and Fred was one of a kind. But it's a great time of the year to remember your friends, remember things that made you laugh, remember times that were especially good, and to play some music that no one in their right mind would ever play anywhere except me. Merry Christmas.
Radio Indiana, WIBC, Indianapolis.
An apparent death by hanging, and this is WIBC News.